My name is Jeremy. I go by Ned Mike online, Ancient Bear Republic Keyforge team, and I'm based out of Northern California. For this event, a bunch of ABR teams playing in this event, and we sort of randomly assigned everyone to a team. So for this event, I'm on a team called ABR We Got 5 on it with Rees and Disthis, and we've been having a really good time so far. We're just looking to have fun and play some good Keyforge. I'm playing one of my favorite decks in the world called Amelia. I got this around the time of the World's Collide release. I opened it myself, and it was the first Quixel deck I ever fell in love with. The Quixel aficionado these days, and it's pretty strong, even if the Quixel doesn't get it in most cases. So it's got a pretty flexible game plan. I've been playing this since week 2 of this event, and I've gone 6-0 with it, I think. I've been doing a ton of practicing, actually, these matchups. This matchup pretty tough for my deck. I have a bunch of artifact control and a bunch of creature control that's gonna make me really work for this win. Yeah, I think it's possible to pull one out here. Definitely the underdog, I think, in the match, though. So plan A for this deck is usually to get the Crystal Stone out, and then just play the pips and control the opponent's board. And what I like about this deck is that almost every creature is a must kill for the opponent. When I do play creatures, they feel like they have to kill them immediately, leaving them with fewer slots to play their own creatures. Against a deck with Reclaim by Nature and 2 Harvest Times, I got to change my game plan a little bit. Plan B for this deck is usually to get a bunch of creatures out of Alliance or a bunch of dinosaur nerds and get them doing stuff. The deck then against also has a bunch of good spot removals, so that's going to be 2. So plan C for this match, which is play really well, get lucky, and hope I can tease out some of those artifact control and creature control cards early and get to plan A or plan B later in the match. How it goes. And I hope they have fun. Hope they play well. Hope we have good games. All ends up giving us a licking. I hope we can keep on ticking.
I'm come from a Hong Kong player. My name is Ken. I play Keyforge about 2 years around, and our team is the usually play together in Hong Kong, like a Cheng Ban or Siu event. So we know each other. So when we see this game, we ask each other, do we want to join? So that's our team to create. So my deck is a very fun deck. There are have a fun. There's a strong house with this and untamed. I can use the Lost in the World to shuffle some this creature inside to the deck. So it's strong deck. For me, it's not many time to training. I will try to play 2 to 3 games if I can before the game. But our teammate will practice. As I know, our teammate will be practice or will play my component devs and our devs. Maybe few games also. They have more time to practice, so they did well performance than I. So yes, let's play the good game. Yeah, good luck for each other, for both of us. Yeah.
So let's take a look at the second match of the KOTE 7 top 8 matchup between Lickle and Ancient Bear Republic. So right now we are looking at the blue players decks. On the left side we'll have Lickle from Hong Kong, as you could see, and on the right side we see the deck from Ancient Bear Republic blue player. The first one, we see some simplified Chinese name. It's simplified Chinese because I checked it. I'm not an expert here, but it said that it's something about Elk Emperor. So, Robic, you I believe you like the Triple Infernus decks, right? You encountered some during this KOTE.
Not at all. In this KOTE, our team probably faced around 6 or 7 such a decks. And what is funny, we won basically every such a matchup, but it was a pain to play against. And this card, like an Infernus, being a common in both sets, like Worlds Collide and Mass Mutation, making the archetype of like triple Infernus something, is really OP in my opinion, because it's really versatile. You can purge your own deck to make it like such a consistent deck, to get rid of useless cards, and of course you can purge key cards from your opponent. What is really funny in this particular deck, the double harvest time can purge even more. And the drawback of harvest time is that the owner of the card purge gets number for it. But if you can tax such a number and make your opponent forge a key for Basilio number, the drawback is actually mitigated. And with double Faust, the Great, as well as other 6 creatures in Saurians with city-state interest, there's a potential of setting up the key cost up to, let's say, around 12 or 14 on average, because it can get really higher. You can basically then in this turn purge really good cards, like probably Star Alliance humans. Get rid of them, as well as make your opponent forge for 12, mitigating the drawback. So it's really nice combo in here, as well as you can purge your own mutants because they are useless. A really nice deck. Definitely the opener should be the Saurian House, because it demands board wipe. Because like 8 creatures, every creature on high health and really valuable effects. So without the board control, with a good Saurian start, you win automatically. Then the triple Infernus can just make sure you have such a great Amber control with the Saurian. Untamed is a little bit less exciting in this deck, but Double Lost in the Woods can just put your Infernus into the deck for even more purging, and to get rid of some key cards on your opponent board. Definitely interesting archetype. It's a new force from Mass Mutation. I'm really excited to see the owner play this deck, because it's just my thoughts, but I haven't played such a deck. I barely played Mass Mutation decks, so on paper I feel like it's strong, really versatile, but seeing it being played will be a pleasure. So what's the opponent chances? What do you see on your side, Dominic?
Yeah, on my side, I see a kind of a Quixelstone archetype here. Usually, when you see a deck with Quixelstone, you are just looking at all your creatures and all the ways to abuse the play effects, abuse the reap effects to make it even more efficient. And here we see Quixelstone with double golden spirals. So I believe what is the usual way to go with this deck is to play Quixelstone early, then play some pretty efficient creatures like Comm Officer Kirby or maybe Information Officer Grey, and then abuse the Golden Spiral combo here. Especially with Philosophosaurus, it could be also a very efficient way to go through your deck to gain a lot of amber from this procedure, and also Saurian could be a pretty good tribute Senator Shriek's combo here with Imperium. I believe this deck could stand a chance against a lot of decks without Ember control, a lot of decks without Artifact control, especially with this Dis. You have two cards to archive your disk, but they are not one-use cards. They are like Information Officer Grey multiple-use cards until your opponent, takes them off the board. Also, Philosophosaurus could be really useful here. And why I'm speaking about archiving your disk? Because this is not so good here. But there is one card that makes it really premium. Every week, this card in this set could be a premium card when you put an E on the fringes in the deck. So you could purge all your discards. You could also purge your opponent's discards from his discard pile, his or her discard pile. And here we see triple Infernuses on the in the second corner of this ring. So I would probably purge these Infernuses as fast as I can. So if our opponent plays them and allows us to destroy them, they will be definitely purged, unless they will be archived by Stirring Grave. But that's the only way to archive them, and it's only one Stirring Grave there. So we could probably purge at least two of them and gain some amber during this play. Unfortunately, we won't be playing Quixel Stone for a long time, because our opponent is playing Reclaimed by Nature and double Harvest Times. So I believe the first target for this removals is obviously Quixel Stone, but we see also a really good target here with Library of Polysaurus and double Golden Spirals, with which shares the same location trait. So you could just purge them at once using one Harvest Time. That could be a really annoying thing to witness from Dr. Vivienne's side. Also, we see Color of Subordination, and looking at our opponent's creatures, we see some pretty good creatures that we want to take control of, but I believe it won't be a game changer, because our opponent could easily just purge them or destroy them with their superior board. So I believe we still have a chance, and it's higher chance that in the matchup that we described before, but I'm not the favorite here. I believe this Elk Emperor in Chinese deck would have the upper hand in this matchup. What do you think, Robik?
Yeah, so referring to your point, the only one Stirring Grave is also backed up by double Lost in the Woods, which is actually really, really key. Untamed House in the Elk is not the greatest, but double Lost in the Woods shuffles back the Infernuses, making you unable to destroy them properly, as well as just you have you have on your side no ways of putting your Ember to the common supply, like Prefectus Ludo on my side, or even Imperial Scutum. So going full ham on Philosophosaurus or even Senator Shrieks without the Imperium, which is only one in your deck, can lead to some good Exalt and then being shuffled back, giving it all back to me. And even though we have the Reclaim by Nature and Harvest Time, the Quicksilverstone is not as good for you, I believe, because we have more pips on our cards, namely 2 more, as well as your speed is basically based on Kirby, Philosophosaurus, and Grey, which we can easily deal with some sort of stomps, Lost in the Woods, Double Dooms, Dance of Dooms, and stuff. So I believe it would be even sometimes funny to see Quicksilverstone being played and in favor of the Chinese deck. I feel like the deck should be favored, but because I have like a little of knowledge of such a matchup. I haven't played as much with mass mutation deck. I will agree with your percentage because you are more, I believe, experienced with so. So what's your rating?
I would go with 60-30 because it's not so decided right now. If I manage to purge your Infernuses, I could win with Dr. Vivian. But on the other hand, if you play your Infernuses right and you have your massive Sorry on board, I would be pretty much damned here. So 60-30 is our score for this game. So let's just watch the game.
So thanks
Hello.
again to Can't Touch This for doing another great deck analysis breakdown. So here we have first player going to Lickle at the top. Interesting starting hand. Not perfect. I would mulligan that personally. But at the bottom, there was a mulligan from ABR.
It's a shame to see the mulligan from ABR of the Infernus, knowing you've got that triple amber breaky just sat there.
But
Helmsman Spheres could be very powerful here if it's left alone, but a turn 1 skiller is going to be very strong. Fight, if your opponent's creatures have fight, lose 1 amber. 7 power creature. Going to be very tough to deal with. E on the fringes with 4 cards in hands. We're going to see probably Ned might play this a little bit more conservatively, waiting for the amber to get high enough for E to kind of really get in.
yep.
Fights Glorious Attendant. Plays Tribute to Capture 1. Pass. Could be quite an interesting series of events here. Captures 1, fights, get rid of the Raptor, and then plays Humble just for the Amber. And now double Infernus, Harvest Time, Stirring Grave. What even is this? Quadricorner could be quite interesting here. Kirby is going to be beautiful. Fights, 2 creatures damaged. So this could be a display, but I imagine this is going to be a Starlight's Kirby, Misery Exploiter, Quadricorder on Pharaoh Centaurian or Amber Spire. I might have gone for Amber Spire Mongrel. Just because it's a lot harder to kill, your opponents really want to get it killed on their own side, whereas Pharaoh Centaurian probably has a death combination with it. It's getting closer and closer to death as it goes.
Yeah, you're right.
Then Mike just dropping the Phossasaurus and got this hand of this ready to go. A fight and a reap. Both players playing this very conservatively. It's nice to see. Drops EE. Discarded Inspector. Unfortunately, Kiwini hasn't played any creature, hasn't played this, so there's nothing to purge apart from their own. Purges Marston, purges Buzzle, purges Misery Exploiter, gets his own Infernus, sat on 8, but plays the Breaky, plays Harvest Time to get rid of EE, and then is going to use Infernus to purge Tribute and Cloaking Dongle, get him down to 7. Infernus, gets rid of Breaky and Glorious Attendant to take him down to 4. That is a 4 loss of Amber. Play Stirring Grave to re-archive the Pharaoh Centaurian. Then here comes the Quixel Stone. A little bit too late, but does stop this third Infernus from coming down anytime soon. That's a little bit nuts. How quickly his Inferni have come down. Song of the Wild, Reap. Get yourself to 6. Rapid Evolution for 8. Put that on Skylar. Make it a little harder, and then Mike does get the first key. Plays Orak, plays Imperium, and passes. Allowing Keyman to take this. Forging red first, what a madman. Who forges red first nowadays?
People who don't have a Red Baron.
mark a distant Odak, then uses the Dance of Doom to get rid of all creatures of 5 power. Reap, sits on 6, and then Mike forced to go into Saurian means that you can just kill the Amber Spy Mongrel, and then boom, second key comes in, plays Stomp, discards the creatures, reaps, get 2 ahead, now a key ahead and on the same Amber. So now we're seeing the reap exalt this creature coming down. Plays Infernus. Plays Not Finish You. Plays probably Hold Evil Eye. Call of Subordination with Crystal Storm could be quite fun, but would put him in a strange situation here. Fights the Infernus with Infernus. Reaps. Now this is a good setup that Kiwiman's got here because he's got the Lost in the Woods in hand, which means that he can use the Lost in the Woods to put the creatures back into the deck, get rid of the Fandango, and set it up so Infernus can still be played because there'll be no creatures down. A good turn, just discard everything but get Frayne down. Discards Fandango, plays Lost in the Woods, and this City State Interest would be so good in any other situation but Quicksilverstone, making most of these Saurian cards kind of useless. Then Mike just discarding some Saurian creatures, and now we're seeing the exact same thing. Kiwiman goes into the Saurian, discards everything in his hand apart from 1 creature, and redraws in, and whew. Hound Officer Grey. So Information Officer Grey drops a Cloaking Dongle and holds the Red Alert. That's a bit of a weird one for me. I can see why he held on to the Red Alert, because if Grey gets dealt with, but it's not really going to get that much value in the future. Discards Chant of Hubris, that could have been huge. Gets to 3. No real Harvest Time can deal with this Quicksilverstone, but Logos would have been a better option. First off, Frayne, archives more. Discards the Red Alert there. Untamed, Wild Bounty, Lost in the Woods gets to 4. 5 off the Frayne, 6 with the Dark Fairy. Discard, plays Resurgence to get back. To get back the beautiful Infernus. Double Infernus and Stimmet back from the Lost in the Woods. Sat on 6. Plays Festering Touch. Plays Call of Subordination. Used Evil Eye to make keys cost 9, which is really good part of good play. But Harvest Time comes down, which gets rid of the Quicksilverstone. Infernus 1, Infernus 2, Snarret, and can technically delay another turn off the Odak. But then Mike in a very bad position here. Lost all his Amber, the rest has been captured. Drops Library, drops Golden Spiral, drops Lost Taurus. Odak takes off check, but we see a double Lost in the Woods in hand for Kiwik. Fight with the Dark Fairy. Then Lost in the Woods, then Lost in the Woods, and pass. Yes, you're technically giving your opponent back Amber. But yeah, then Mike concedes, has no way of dealing with the 9. Very well played by both players. Just unfortunately that Quicksilverstone came a little bit too late. Then Mike had answers and control in the deck. Just same as the first game. Wasn't able to draw them in a way that was beneficial.
But what a game.
It was a very good game.